Well, hello, folks out there in YouTube land. Got a big show lined up for you. Let's get right on into it. All right. Yeah, the SEC's heating up. We're starting to really get in the season. We're going to talk about who's up and who is sinking down. And there's several teams doing both. Let's not waste any time, though. Now, Tennessee rebounded Wednesday. I wanted to cover it yesterday, but I had all kinds of computer problems, which I finally hashed out. Had an external hard drive issue of all things. Anyway, I won't bore you with all that. But anyway, Georgia was giving us a good game. It was tight. And Georgia's a good team this year. But in the second half, we just took off, and Zeke Ziegler hit several three-pointers in a row. He's been kind of cold, but he got hot. And then Jordan Gainey got real hot. He scored 19 points in only 27 minutes. So he kind of carried us along with Zeke. And our shooting guard, Chaz Lanier, he only scored 5 points. He was cold as ice. So that could be a problem. I am glad to see we can still win a game by like 20 points without Chaz Lanier really contributing. That's a good sign. But that's some spin also on my part. We want our highest scorer to be scoring. That's kind of the whole point. Let's take a look at everybody's rankings right now. Auburn's sitting proudly at number 1, and they're looking good. They've won their last 9 ball games. They're 4-0 in conference play. Now they're down their best player, which is Broome. He's kind of the heart and soul, scores 17, 18 points a game, had a high ankle sprain. It's not looking great for any time short term.
We are down one of the most dynamic offensive players in college basketball. An old school center that can score with his back to the basket one-on-one. If you double him, he can pass it to anybody, and he does a great job of getting the foul line. He's unselfish. We don't have that. We have to find other ways to score.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for Auburn. He's a really good player. Says he is out indefinitely. They did not have to do surgery on the ankle, but that's according to Deadspin. So a high ankle sprain can be very problematic, especially a basketball player where you've just got to be able to jump and you got to have all those quick twitch muscles ready to go. He'll probably be out for several weeks. Hopefully for Auburn, he can get back for the NCAA tournament and be, close to 100%. That's really where they're going to need him. They'll be able to, no pun intended, limp through this season without him and still be really good. They're a deep team, very well coached. Say what you want about Bruce Pearl, but he knows how to coach. And also, College Game Day is going to be at Auburn against Tennessee on January the 25th. That's an 8:30 tip-off. That'll be a great game at the Jungle. Man, it gets rough in there. It's not a very big auditorium, but it is loud. The kids are on top of you. It's a fantastic environment. If you'll remember, we played Auburn last year. Dalton Connect carried our team to victory, and Auburn was giving us all they had. It was one of the best ball games I've ever seen from an individual player, ever. It was incredible. So I expect Auburn's going to be looking for revenge, and it should be a fantastic game.
Revenge is a dish that is best served cold.
It is very cold in space.
Now here's a team that's surprising me. Ole Miss is 4-0 in SEC play, 15-2. They're playing really well. Of course, Tennessee's 3-1. We made a comeback after dadgum Florida beat the crap out of us. Why does it have to be Florida? If any team that could have whooped us, that's the one I don't want. And they beat us by 30 points, and they've just, Gators. Anyway, Alabama, they're going to be good. They're 3-1. They lost their last game. Nate Oates is an excellent X's and O guy. They'll make a run in the tournament. They always do, ever since he's shown up. So I look for Alabama to be a very strong force in the SEC all year long. Here's Kentucky. They've got their new coach, Mark Pope. They're thrilled with him. Holy crap. I did a show about Kentucky and John Calipari a few days ago. And in the comment section, Big Blue Nation is thrilled. They are so happy with their new coach. He wants to be there. He's a Kentucky guy through and through. They got irritated with Calipari, and a lot of them said, hey, he thought he was above us. And people in Kentucky don't appreciate that crap. And I could see that. He's a little bit, thinks highly of himself. So I think that played a role in them getting tired of him. The losing was the problem, though. And the other thing was they said he talked to Arkansas behind their back. They were upset about that, and that he technically broke the rules of his contract. I don't know if that's accurate or not. But anyway, he did walk away and they didn't have to pay him, and he went to Arkansas, and they are off to a bad start. Missouri, they're 3-1. They've got off to a good, solid start. The SEC is tough right now, folks, too. So I'm telling you, if you're 3-1, you're playing well. Here's Florida at 2-2. 2-2, and they had to whoop on us. Mississippi State's at 2-2. I watched Vanderbilt beat South Carolina by 3 points the other night. We're going to talk about South Carolina here in a minute. But Vanderbilt, man, they need to get some love on YouTube. I saw Locked On Vanderbilt's covering them, but that's it, man, that I could see. They need some people to show them a little, some props anyway. Georgia is 2-2. They're a much better team than they have been the last few years. That will mean nothing to Uncle Lou. He could care less. He says basketball doesn't count. Texas A&M 2-2. They're just okay. Texas is struggling right now. They're 1-3. They finally won a ball game that they badly needed. They're 12-5 on the year. I don't like their chances in the NCAA tournament. LSU, they finally won a ball game. They beat Arkansas. They are having a tough time. They're 12-5. They're probably not going to make the tournament. Oklahoma's had a terrible start in the SEC, 0-4, just awful. Arkansas with John Calipari is off to a horrible start. I'm not shocked they're off to a slow start, but they're so loaded with talent. They've got like 5 guys on that team that are top 50 recruits. One's a 25th, one's a 23rd, 27th. I mean, they've just loaded with talent. But Calipari always struggles getting them going at first, and they're not feeling good in Arkansas land.
Sick of this stuff, man. It's late. It's in the wee hours of the morning right now. It's been a long day. It's been a long night. Appreciate all of you that came out to Brothers for the watch party and trivia. It was a lot of fun. The game wasn't, because Arkansas decided to lose to LSU. LSU, who, I thought they were the worst team in the SEC, honestly. I thought they were. But no, that has been dethroned. The Arkansas Razorbacks, the worst team in the SEC right now. Arkansas loses 78-74 in Baton Rouge and fall to 0-4 in SEC play. According to my math, the second time ever in SEC history. And I'm fed up. Folks, I'm fed up with it. I'm fed up with everything. I'm fed up with this team. I'm fed up with the Cal experiment right now. Like, I'm just fed up with it. And I am somebody who just said earlier this week, as in like 2 days ago, I'm going to try to be more positive and look at the whole season and all of that. I can't do that. Like, I was trying. I was trying to do that. I can't do it anymore, man. What the crap was that?
Yeah, and you notice he called it the John Calipari experiment. Now, here's the thing that you got to realize. Arkansas cares deeply about basketball. They really do. It's important to them. And you noticed all the money they spent to get Calipari in there, gave him a ton of money in the portal. He had the #1 class in the portal, the #4 class in recruiting. He is getting tremendous support at Arkansas. And unfortunately, because he's Mr. Slow Start, he brings in a bunch of people, tries to make a mesh. They don't normally at first. But that excuse is getting old, because look at the teams that are meshing that are doing the same thing. Mark Pope started from 0. He had 0 players when he came into Kentucky, and they're playing well. Tennessee, 3 of their top 5 players are brand new, and they reached #1 for several weeks. So it's about coaching, and Calipari is a okay coach. I'm not going to call him bad, because he's had a lot of success, but he just struggles getting teams to mesh early on. I think they'll be a good team by the end of the season. So there is hope, Arkansas. Don't give up. Do not give up on this team.
DOR, I ain't gonna quit. All right, then you can forget it. You're out. Don't you do it. Don't you.
Because I've seen Calipari do this year after year, start out terrible with tons of talent. By the end of the year, they're dangerous. I think that will happen with Arkansas, but they're not happy in Arkansas land, I can tell you, and it matters to them a lot. All right, now South Carolina. Good grief. Yeah, they're in a bad spot. They were really good last year. If you'll remember, they almost burned our playhouse down. We were looking to win the SEC title, which we finally did. We had to go down and beat them there because they came up to Thompson Bowling and beat us. Surprised the crap out of me. I didn't expect them to be any good at all. They'd been awful before, but they were strong last year. A very dangerous team, not unlike their football team that's gotten very dangerous. But I looked on South Carolina basketball to see who would be covering them, who's talking about them. Jackpot's not been covering them very much. I don't think he's even talked about them very much.
Oh, this is going to get damn ugly right here.
So they're not getting a lot of love in South Carolina land, and that's unfortunate. They're not a bad team. I don't think that at all. They're off to a bad start, and I think a lot of that has to do with the SEC, but they need some support. Because they got some last year, and this year off to a bad start. I think people are just like, you know. And I understand, look, it's hard to go from football, pop right into basketball during the playoffs and all that with the 12 team, and then get into basketball. It just takes a little bit of time to sort of transition into that. So, and I've had the same problem. You know, I just started covering basketball a few days ago because I was struggling transitioning. But it's about time. It's getting there. And I'm still going to cover football like crazy because that's, you know, it's king.
It's good to be the king.
But I do enjoy basketball, and I watch a lot of it. And my brothers and I are constantly texting during games and doing all that. I'm sure you do that too. But anyway, South Carolina needs to get it going. I think they'll turn it around, but it's not going to be a year like last year. You can't start out 0-4 in the SEC because in the past the SEC wasn't that strong. But look where they are. They got the number 1 team, the number 4 team, the number 5 team, the number 6 team in the country, the number 8 team in the country, number 11 team, 15th team, 21st team, 23rd team. That is a bunch of folks in the top 25, which means the SEC is going to be very well represented in the NCAA tournament. They're just strong. And normally the SEC dominates in football. That didn't happen this year.
Yes! Oh, let me taste your tears, Scott. Your tears are so yummy and sweet.
But looks like they're going to be pretty dominant in basketball this year. So if you get off to a really bad start, you know, 0 for whatever, it's going to be really hard to catch up because you're not going to get a bunch of easy wins. You're going to be playing a lot of top 25 teams and a lot of those teams on the road, and it's going to be super hard to catch up. You don't want to be in that position. So for those teams that are 0-4 and 1-3, you had best get it going because otherwise you're going to get so far behind you'll have no chance. All right, folks, just wanted to cover some SEC basketball. It's really getting cooking right now. And now's the time to get yourself positioned for the NCAA tournament because these games matter. They'll matter a lot. You got to win in the right quadrants and keep from losing in the bottom quadrants and all of that. And the reason that matters is because where you're seated is going to make a huge difference as to how far you get into the March Madness. You know, last year we made it to the Elite 8, but we started out really high in the rankings because, you know, you play a lot of easy teams at first. You need that. You need those kind of gimme games, you know, get your team used to playing in the tournament and have some easy wins and get some momentum because momentum matters a lot in basketball. Anyway, if you like this content, be sure to hit that like button. Let's continue to cover all these big college sports stories. If you've not subscribed, boom, 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 hit this little button right there. It will not cost you a dime. Help you get my videos. And right over here is the most recent video that YouTube thinks you'll enjoy. We'll see you next time with Sports Talk Jay.